This video talks about user generated content or UGC in video games. And while I have done a fair amount of research before making this video, I'd like to point out right at the start that I have almost zero experience in interacting with UGC in games. I'm the kind of guy who goes from one game to another, so as soon as I finish the core experience that the developers have built, I move on to another game. So I won't be able to offer any first-hand experience of what UGC feels like. Instead, all I'm doing here is sharing what I have learned during my research on this topic. UGC has existed as a concept for many decades, whether in the form of mods, multiplayer maps, or entire games remade by fans. Users have never shied away from spending more time building content inside their games instead of actually playing the games. These days, UGC is seen as a growing trend in the industry, led by platforms like Roblox and Fortnite. Yes, Fortnite is a platform now, and the Battle Royale mode that made it famous is just one of many experiences that you can have inside Fortnite. We also have Minecraft that is still going strong, which was one of the early games that wrote the success of UGC with its creative mode. And of course, how can we forget the 10-year-old juggernaut Grand Theft Auto 5, which has a thriving modding community that comes up with all sorts of weird new content. Generally speaking, hardcore fans of any game will be quite enthusiastic if they are given the tools to create content for that game. For example, when Fall Guys introduced their level maker, the community responded by making 2.3 lakh levels in just 2 days. To put that in perspective, the first release of Fall Guys had less than 50 levels. Of course, the quality of those 2.3 lakh levels will vary a lot, and it is very likely that a large portion of them will not be played by a large portion of the game's audience. But imagine opening your favorite game and suddenly seeing that amount of choice. At the very least, UGC stories like this one makes for some really good news articles, which in turn boost the visibility of that game. In another example, Super Mario Maker was recently in the news because the community of fans wanted to finish playing thousands of previously unbeaten levels for the original game that was released on the Wii U console. This version of the game has been closed since April 8, and the community wanted to make sure that every level of the game was beaten before the deadline. They actually did it, and now this piece of news has given a new lease of life to the sequel, Super Mario Maker 2, which is still active on the Nintendo Switch. Now a whole lot of people are interested in checking out that game and trying to beat all the unbeaten levels released by other players. All this is free publicity for Nintendo, and all they had to do was end support for the 2015 game. We sure live in strange times. I may not understand UGC firsthand, but I am interested to see how this space grows. If you or someone you know is interested in getting into the UGC space, all I would suggest is to go in with clear expectations. If you want to enter this space with the intention to make money, well, you better have a lot of patience and hope for some luck as well. If you want to simply build something creative and share it with the world, you can certainly do that in a short period of time. But again, don't expect to magically get millions of players within a few days. The realistic scenario for UGC is a small group of family and friends building customized experiences and sharing them with each other. And at least Roblox seems to understand this and is interested in promoting the platform as more of a social network rather than a gaming platform. UGC is a trend that will continue to grow for a while, as companies will happily let players build their own content given that game development costs are growing steadily. But it remains to be seen whether these smaller gaming experiences will stand the test of time. Just remember that at the end of the day, it is the platform holders that will walk away with any benefits that come out of this trend. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.